Hello, my name is Vint Cerf. I'm Google's chief internet evangelist, and I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today about the City Protocol. This is something that my good friend Manel Sanroma told me about recently, and it immediately evoked all kinds of interesting ideas like cities communicating back and forth with each other or within themselves, making the automated operation of the city more and more pleasant for the citizens and improving the efficiency of operation and all kinds of possibilities. Of course, I don't know exactly what all is going to emerge from the discussions that you have about this very interesting idea. But I can say that if your objective is to create a set of standards that will allow for digital communication among different parts of the city, within the city and between cities, that you will probably experience a very similar kind of situation as I did many years ago as the internet was being designed. We were concerned about trying to create a system that would allow an arbitrary collection of computers to communicate with each other through an arbitrary collection of packet switch networks. And in fact, we were very careful not to define in too much detail all of the applications that might be implemented on top of this basic platform. I think that much of the success of the internet is a consequence precisely of not being too specific about all the possible applications that the network might undertake. And in some ways, the fact that it was not designed to do anything in particular has made the internet adaptable to quite a wide range of applications over the 30 years or so that it's been in operation. In the case of the City Protocol, I think what is important for you is to begin by creating a few scenarios that will give you an idea of the sorts of things that you might accomplish allowing this sort of online interaction to take place. By no means do I suggest that you should undertake a complete list of all applications, just a few to give everyone a sense for the kinds of things that you might accomplish. The second thing that I would recommend is that you meet face to face and come to some conclusions about the way in which you will approach the problem. I would recommend thinking about pilots. These are short term kinds of experiments that don't have long term commitments associated with them, but they give you an opportunity to try an idea out, to find out whether it works or doesn't work, or what's wrong with it if it doesn't, or what's right about it if it turns out to be spectacularly useful. These pilots are a way of grounding the discussions in a kind of reality. So I strongly recommend that. I also urge you, as you meet either face to face or electronically, that you keep in mind that everyone is committed to this common goal to create an environment where online city interaction is useful to both the operation of the city and to the citizens, and that everyone is well intended, because you will all ultimately get into debates, some of them perhaps even very heated, about the best way forward. And what is important is to recognize that the debate is not a disparagement of any person. Rather, it is a tussle over which ideas work better than others. And if everyone remembers that the objective is to create the best ideas, then many of these debates won't turn personal. I think it's also very important for you to document what you do. This doesn't have to be particularly formal. And in fact, if you go back to look at some of the early documentations for the ARPANET, which preceded the internet, and the internet documentation, these were called requests for comment, and they were very humble in their origins, and they were very informal. 30 years later, or now 40 years later, the process by which they're created is rather a lot more formal than it used to be. But you're just beginning. I would recommend documenting things so you can remember the ideas that people have had, maybe the ones that you didn't get a chance to try out, to keep a history of what's going on and to recall the nature of your discussions and the range of topics that you've managed to explore. In the end, this idea will bear fruit if everyone is willing to participate and to support the program. And I can hardly wait, frankly, to hear about the results of the first meeting coming in mid-July, at which I hope this little brief video will stimulate some thinking. And I'm, of course, looking forward to hearing from Manel San Roma how the meetings go and what your plans look like going forward. Someday, I hope your ideas will not only bear fruit, but also turn out to be useful for cities all around the world. So, good luck with the conversations that start in mid July, and I look forward to hearing more as time goes on. Meanwhile, I'll see you on the net.